Yeah, me too. Me too.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Business Broadcast. I'm Nikki Larkin, and today I am the host, not a speaker, and I have the lovely Pete Ames with me. Hi, Pete.
Hello, Nikki. Hello, everybody. Delighted to be here.
Absolutely great to have you here. I'm not going to spend too much on the beginning chit chat because we have so much to get through in this, because this is a very exciting topic. I know a polite word, something, nothing at all about this. Sorry, I'm trying not to swear in that there. Is we're going to be talking about Chat GPT. Who knows what that is? But it's apparently something very exciting, really important to know in the business world. And if you harness it right, apparently it's going to save us lots of money and be really brilliant for our businesses. So Pete is at the cutting edge of this, and that is, he's got his finger on the pulse and it's all that's happening. So without too much further ado, I will go to him. I'll just do a piece of housekeeping. If you're watching live on YouTube or LinkedIn Live, please do go into the comments, say hi, first of all, so that we know you're there, which is lovely to see you. Secondly, do feel free to ask as many complicated questions because it's Pete answering. So really, please test him, put them on there, get excited. Even because it's such a new topic, no question's going to be silly. Just put them out there and we want to see them. And I will try and get through as many as I can during this piece. Okay, let's go. Room 101. What is Chat GPT? Oh, I can't even get the right name. Chat G for golf, P for Papa, T for Tango. GPT.
Yes. Okay. Let's just call it chat because that's what I had to do the last time I did this talk, and the author couldn't get their head around it. So, okay. By the way, on that questions point, if I can't answer anything in the thing, I'm going to come back afterwards and I'm going to reply to comments. So you will get an answer. Let's test. Yeah, test me. Come on, push me. So, Chat GPT is not like a complete new thing. It is GPT. It's based on a technology called GPT-3. It's the third iteration of an AI that has been created by a charitable foundation. They were charitable, called OpenAI. Microsoft have just sunk $10 billion into them. They're that excited about what's happening here. And Google had a red alert, all hands on deck meeting when it launched in November. Okay, so it's very exciting. What is it?
Microsoft funded, 3 billion sunk in.
10.
No, 10 billion. Oh, $10 billion.
Yeah. It's kicked off in the VC and the PE world, an absolute. They're just throwing money at anyone with the word AI in their title.
Rename now.
Yeah, it's a big thing. What is it? Right, it's very simple actually. I can show you, and I think we have the ability to share a screen. You can't see exactly what the detail is, but basically, it's a little chat box down here. You can tell it to do something, and then it will respond with a text response. That's it, actually. Very simple.
All right. There is lots more. Don't switch off now. There's a lot.
No. To stay with us, right? Because that's the interface is very simple, and what they've done is they've trained an AI tool on 8 million documents from the web, and they have trained it so that it basically understands the world. So you can tell it to do anything. You can tell it to act like a therapist. You can tell it to act like a marketer. You can tell it to act like a management consultant. Anything you want, you tell it to do, and it will go, okay, fine. What do I know about that? Okay, let's go. So you can tell it to do an enormous amount of things through that interface. And it has exploded on Twitter. People have been pushing the boundaries of what it can do. I know someone in accounting and tax Twitter who has been trying to get it to act like a ledger. I know people in law.
Oh, can they do double entry? Goodness me.
Well, this is the interesting thing. I will come on to this. I know lawyers who've been throwing legal situations at it from clients, and it's given correct answers. Simple situations, but correct answers. I know people are using it for an enormous amount of stuff it's been used for, and that's probably where we're going. But at its surface,
sorry, you did say I was going to come up with this question. I haven't thinking of them, and then I know this isn't business, but it is related because I've got businesses that are thinking about things like this. GP. If you can't get your GP appointment, can you put your question in? How good is it? Or have you not set that one yet?
Yeah, well, you've kind of hit on something, right? So this does have a limitation. So if you actually,
I found the limitation.
Yeah, 8 million sounds like a big number until you compare it to the amount of documents and knowledge that exist in the world.
Yeah, because a lot of books are not on the internet.
Yes, there's a lot of knowledge it doesn't have.
Yeah. Certainly, when I research things, I usually end up having to go to extra stuff that isn't on the internet. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And it's also not connected to the internet, which is going to be important later because it can't go and read more information. It's stuck in 2021. If you ask it who is the current prime minister, it will say,
"Oh no,
Boris Johnson." Yeah. Oh, what a dark world, or a great world, depending on your views. So that's its big limitation. However, of course, this is the third version. GPT-4 is already in the wings, and Microsoft are planning to integrate it into Bing. Google have a competitor that they're going to put in the searches. It's going to be in Office. It's going to be everywhere. But to really get to grips with it, I think it's worth moving on to, that's what it is, but what's it for? What are we going to do with it?
Okay, yeah, let's try. We'll try not to go too hysterical and start thinking about it taking over the world. We'll just try and let's limit today to the business part.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it's
not.
I'll say now.
What that is? What is it actually for? How are we? How's it going to affect all these SMEs here? Running their businesses, making their millions, but how can they make more?
Yeah. Okay.
How can they harness it?
If you could email someone to do it and get a written response back, it can do that. It's like the very high level. So classic example, marketing. This is the most obvious one that everybody leaps on.
And this is where my lovely Susan has already been using it for that. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, she has. Yes. She's been using, I believe from what you said, she's been using Jasper.
Jasper.
And this is, you're going to see this. There's a lot of people who are because Jasper uses GPT-3. The same tech as OpenAI. What happens is Jasper have paid, they've put a little interface on the front and they've tweaked some of the settings. So it will write copy for you. But you can just use Chat GPT, which is free, to do exactly the same thing. So different ways. Marketing, the obvious thing is you can ask it, that little example I highlighted, said, write a promo for a webinar about Chat GPT. And it produced something.
Yes, that's what she was showing me, that writing blogs and articles and things. Brilliant. Yes.
And here is the most immediate, obvious threat from this. There's two things. If you ask it a generic question, it's going to give you a generic bit of content. And a lot of people are going to do that. There is about to be an explosion of content.
Tone of voice, is it?
It can be. Very good tone of voice. So I've been using this. I ghostwrite LinkedIn for a couple of my clients, really, just to get them up and moving before they take it over for themselves. And I practiced a lot with this because I was like, this can help me somehow, but I don't want it to just be vanilla. I do their tone of voice. So what I did is I gave it example posts I had written and that my client had written. And I said, right, what is the tone of voice? What is the style here for this post? And he would say back to me, this is the search, right? So I gave it 2 or 3. And I said, right, here's 3 posts. I want you to tell me from these 3 how I can tell you to write a post like that.
Yeah, and there's a thing that you can do of finding out what your tone of voice is like. Mine's apparently earnest. I know that there's a thing that you can check. Just so you know.
Yeah, but you can just jump it in. You just give it the example. Say, this is the best stuff I've ever written, right? Yeah. Tell me what to tell you to write more. And this is where we're getting into something called prompt engineering.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. This is going to be the phrase that explodes over the next year and a half.
But, prompt engineering. Because that's not nuts and bolts. It's not head under the bonnet of a car. It's something really clever, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Prompt engineering is the art of telling an AI system to do something so it does exactly what you want it to do. Because computers are stupid. Yeah, it's kind of like it's very structured. If you've got a structured mindset, you are going to be naturally very good at prompt engineering. It's why I love it so much, because it appeals to the way I think about things. So prompt engineering, for example, I could say, write me a blog post about Chat GPT. Yeah. I can say, right, when I tell you, I want you to write me a prompt. I want you to write me a blog about Chat GPT. Its length must be between X and Y. I want you to use this style. I want you to use this tone of voice. I want you to incorporate questions. I want you to incorporate human, whatever you can say. And here's the dump of details, my brain dump on this subject. Combine my perspective with what you know, adhere to these boundaries I've set for you, and write me a piece. And what you get back will no longer be vanilla. It will be very akin to your style. It will be very akin to your perspective on the whole thing. And it's going to be much, much better. But I will then say as well, I would never copy and paste anything produced by Chat GPT and give it out to the world.
Yeah, it's you could use it like as your first draft, which you then you improve and personalize.
Yeah, because for me, Chat GPT's real secret source value, when we all get over the hype and get to the other side, it is the answer to this: a blank sheet of paper. Sit down. Right, I need to write a blog.
Yeah, don't know where to start.
Yeah, right. I'm writing
better editing than the original thoughts.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. So I sit down. I say, right, I'm writing for these people, and I want to write about this rough subject. Come up with 10 ideas about what I could write. Okay, I like these 3. Give me another version. Okay, I like that one. Give me the different perspectives of people on this subject. Okay, well, some people think this, some people think that. Right. I want to write a response to those people who think this about that subject, and I want you to take a tone of voice, and here's my input. I think this. Right? Write the blog post. You're going to have something that's 80% right. You pick it up and you'll just fly through editing it, making it better. I don't know if you've noticed this, Nikki, but if you say something to someone that's like, tell me about X, they'll go, oh. If you say, I think X, and that's wrong, then all of a sudden they're just coming at you with all the ways you're wrong and what they actually know. So prompt engineering is the way to make this work for you. And it's about breaking down the process step by step and leaning on it like a crutch rather than just do this for me and then taking it away.
So is that the... Sorry, it's so much. It's their main limitations is it gives partial. It doesn't say much to, because I'm just thinking it doesn't really sound too much for limitation. It's still producing such a lot for you. It's just you've got to do that bit of polish on top.
Yeah, it makes you faster, and it means you have to use your brain less to get to somewhere, and then you just put the cherry on the top. But there are some limitations you need to be aware of. And the best way to talk about this is probably to move into the next use case, which is social. Right. So in social media, the keyword is social. It's about interaction. So when I coach people on this, you know this, Nikki, you love social on Twitter and LinkedIn. It's not about writing a post that's like.
Although I am going off Twitter at the moment with this for you and following business. But anyway.
Yeah. But the key thing is it's about the back and forth. A lot of people just look at social media and think, well, I'll post that I do this job, and then it doesn't work. And no. It's about writing posts that are about you as a person.
Yes, momentum.
Yes, momentum. So you can take, for example, you could drop it. You need more posts. So you could take some of your most popular posts around one subject, give it to Chat GPT and say, right, write me a completely new post which aligns with these views, and it will give you something, and you'll take it, and all of a sudden you're reusing your content and you become fast and efficient. But the other key thing is you could use it for comments. So you can say, right, here's a post, and I can't figure out what to say, but I want to say something. Come up with 5 ideas of posts like a day. Yes, that's it. That's what I want to say. And now I'll completely write something unique myself. When I train people on social media, the biggest hurdle is I don't know what to say. It answers that question, but a lot of people use social media around content. They use other people's. I'm going to comment on the FT's latest article. And I was doing this, but I was like, I was saying, read this article, go to this website, and come back to me with a summary. I was like, it can't access the internet. That's one of its big limitations. So what are you doing?
That's not making you remember it.
That too. But the big thing was, this is the danger. It said, okay, here's the summary. It can't do that. So what was it doing? I had to play with it a little bit, and I realized the URL I gave it for the article was something like bosses using social media talk to Gen Z who have abandoned email. You know those URLs where it kind of tells you very quickly, right?
Yeah.
It was reading the URL,
guessing
what was in the article from what it already knew, and pretending it had read it. It's done this to me on a few things. I also asked it to come up with 10 books that would be really good for a client to use in a campaign to approach a target market. And there were 2 books. I was like, they're brilliant. Perfect. I want those. I went looking for them. It took me 10 minutes on Amazon to realize those books did not exist. And I went back and I said, did you make those books up? And to be fair, it had the ability to sound sheepish. It went, yes, we're sorry. We won't do that again. It made it up.
So is it because if it's lying, because that's what it is at that point, or white lies, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
It almost sounds as if is it sentient? It hasn't been tested.
No, it's not sentient. It's very, very stupid. And sorry, this is why this is why prompt engineering is so important, because I had asked a question which it had interpreted as me asking with, come up with 10 book ideas for this target market. So it made some up. Mm-hmm. But it had included some I recognized, like some Simon Sinek books, and I knew the titles. So it had not understood me correctly. So when you're prompt engineering, you have to be putting in constraints, really specific constraints to prevent that kind of thing, or you have to double check whatever it produces. So, its limitations. Social media, it's going to be incredibly powerful, but if you just blindly trust it, it's going to make you look a little foolish.
How new is it? Because it's 21 data. This is version 3. Yes, okay, it's got limitation, but if it's already at this stage now, surely it's not going to be. So if we're thinking about, sorry if you're not a Trekkie, but if you're data in Star Trek, he's chat personified, and in different words, sentient, depending on your point of view. How far away is it from that?
Right, country miles.
Okay,
and fine. Really close, right? Because what they've actually done.
Sci-fi point. Okay, fine.
Yeah, let me get technical for a second.
Yeah.
And then at the end I'll ask you your thoughts, because there's a few other uses I want to get to, because it's.
How do we use it?
How do we use it? That's what we're excited about. But
absolutely. I need to explain this is what Rakesh wants to know. Yes. He wants to know, it's going to be premium, right? How would it be effective?
Eventually,
effective for business and business. That's what we want to know.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's not actually understanding you. It looks like it is, but it's not. What they're doing in the background to simplify, and I'm not in the nuts and bolts, I just care about using it, but I know this.
Yeah.
If you say, right, read this article, give it, and you paste in a 500-word article and write me a 250-word summary.
Yeah.
And you do that 5 times, you're going to cross the threshold of its memory. It's going to forget the things you told it at the start, because it's not actually remembering. What it's doing is, I tell it this, and it writes a response. And then I say, okay, thanks, now do this. It doesn't then go, oh, okay, it just submits everything I've asked it again. So it's working out every time you submit, it's basically going, okay, here's the whole chat. What do you want? Here's the whole chat. What do you want? So it looks like it's remembering, but it's not. It's every time you ask a new question, it's reading what you told it previously, its own answers, your responses, and then go, okay, I understand what you're asking me to do now. And at some point, it gets so big that it can't put in the things you told it at the start. And I discovered this because I was telling it at the very start of a day, right, I want you to write posts like this. I want you to use this tone. I want you to keep these constraints. And then all of a sudden it forgot and it just started going off piste.
Its memory's been wiped.
It ran out, and my original instructions were lost, right? So that's, it's very stupid, but also very powerful.
So for anybody out there tomorrow that wants to start using it this afternoon, this weekend, what practical things should they just be playing around with it? What you've seen it. So have you seen businesses actually utilize it and save money or make money with it?
To direct yes and no, right? What a lot of people have done is it's made them faster. It's made them more efficient.
Saving money, that's always good.
Yes, it's made them more efficient. So they've done things they otherwise wouldn't have had time to do. So it's made money in that sense. It's, I need to do an email campaign, but I'm so busy. Oh, wait, it now takes me 15 minutes to put something together. So it's the way opportunity, not a threat. That's what I'm trying to get at here. So in an operational term,
I was just subtly hinting.
It's all right. Yeah. Keep people in. Operationally, let's take law, right? Yeah. So in the law, there's a lot of things you have to write from both this is my legal opinion, but also in terms of customer service, in terms of outreach, in terms of saying all these things, all of which are time consuming. You can get this involved. You can say, right, here's the context. I've got these prompts saved away, and I want to use it in this fashion. I'll just copy paste those in, give it the details I wanted to talk about, and say, right, write me an introduction letter for a client. Write me a letter responding to another lawyer's request for something unreasonable. Write me a quick summarization of why a particular Latin term doesn't mean what the person who's asking me thinks it means. It can make you very, and then again, you would never send it, but all of a sudden you're editing. It's freeing people up from the nitty gritty $5 tasks so that they can put more time into the $100 tasks.
Yeah.
That's the way to look at this. And I mean, AI is going to change the world in a huge way. This is, I think, made people realize the level it's reached now, but it won't be Chat GPT and other things working off it that does it. What it is going to be is those that get on board early and start playing with it, especially while it's free, are going to be the ones who leverage and get ahead of the curve. And once you're behind the curve, it's very hard to catch up. And they are suddenly going to be producing more content. They're going to be interacting and servicing their clients faster and to a higher standard than you if you don't catch up. That's the way I would look at this now. It won't replace law. It won't replace accountancy. It won't replace consultants. It won't replace marketeers. But what it will do is going to be what Excel did to the accounting industry when it was introduced. All of a sudden, this job of data entry and rubbing things out.
Lotus 1, 2, 3.
Yes, Lotus 1, 2, 3. That was the first, wasn't it, really? But before those existed, people wrote things in books and you had ledger entry and you had correction and update. Yeah. Disappeared as a job overnight. All that happened is accountancy moved into the advisory world. Now I know your data. I can play with it. I can model. I can do what-if scenarios. I can advise you. It allows them to focus on the more expensive tasks. And that's going to be what happens to any knowledge-based industry. Everyone else is going to use it to leverage marketing. That's going to be a big, big piece. It's also got the potential to really help with management and personal development. I saw somebody who used Chat GPT and made it act like a therapist to help them work through a situation. Because it knows, in those 8 million books, there's a lot around different psychological treatment techniques. So, one of the big things, I work with a lot of recruiters. Most people leave a bad manager. That's why they leave jobs.
Yeah.
Most of us know that. We've experienced it. Most people are bad managers.
Well, just to be fair, anyway, my manager, I've never left a job because of a bad manager. I've liked all my managers, I'd like to point out.
That's fine. I haven't.
But
most people will say they haven't.
Yeah, I'm friends with all mine.
Yeah, but most managers aren't bad managers because they're bad people.
No.
Most managers were never trained to be a manager. They were just good at a job and got promoted because of it. Chat GPT can be your friendly management buddy. Here's the scenario. They did this. I don't know what to do to fix it. Ask me questions until I do. This could single-handedly improve the quality of management in this country a massive amount. And I actually think it's going to be little things like that it can really, really prove helpful. Because it doesn't need modern knowledge. It just needs to know what is good management.
So where do I start this afternoon? Where do I start? I don't do. Yeah. Where do I go?
Yeah. So you need to go to chat.openai.com and register.
Right,
I think there's the URL. You need to go there and register. It's under massive demand, so it may well say, "Oh, we're too busy. We've got no." Just keep
after this, with the hundreds of people that will be watching and watching on catch up, this is gonna, it's gonna fall over.
Yeah. Just keep refreshing.
Yeah.
Until it lets you log. Sign up.
Okay.
It will do it. I've signed up for 2 other accounts. One for my sister, one for my father. In the last few days, it's not full. It's just trying to protect its own load.
Is it only in English or is it in multiple languages?
No, it's only English.
Okay.
Yeah, English. So get in and have a play. I've given you some ideas about what it can do, marketing, social, but don't just ask it to do things. Play with that prompt engineering. If anybody wants to just accelerate that very early learning curve, I am running a workshop, which is going to be 2 hours, guided workshop, which is going to get you behind the scenes of prompt engineering around the areas I've talked about, marketing, social, a couple of other use cases, to get you from 0 to 20. You'll be able to start leveraging it immediately.
How can I book for that, Pete?
Right. Well, if people want to just put in the comments, a number 2, I'll reach out to you and I'll send you the details. I don't believe in selling. I just like to tell people they can buy something and then it works.
So put in the comments too. Well, I need to be doing that too.
Yes, I thought you might be on it. Yeah, so pop in the comments, or you can just go straight to the link, which I think, Nikki, I've given you before.
Let's have a look. Oh, is it the Recruitment Pioneers?
The one, yes.
Ooh, okay.
So Recruitment Pioneers, because I specialize in recruiters, but I do marketing.
He does speak to accountants and lawyers and other
accountants, lawyers, professional services.
He doesn't discriminate.
No, I don't. I'll talk to anyone. And you can sign up there. It's only £95.
Bargain.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. And it will get you up to speed really quickly because there's lots of little tricks and traps to just get through as fast as you can. And then you can start leveraging it for your business. I've had so many people on different talks I've done message me about how they've been using it. And, the inventiveness of people in business never ceases to impress me.
Give me an example. Oh, that's just making it. Now I'm just now intrigued.
So recruiter. So one recruiter who does executive search.
Right.
Executive search is all about approaching people who are already in a job and aren't looking. So you need to find them first of all. He was telling Chat GPT, this is a very high
poacher, or if in a polite way, a headhunter.
Yeah, headhunter, poacher. Right. This is the company. This is the role. Who might be a good company? Where can I find people like this?
Yeah.
And how should I approach them? And it was putting together a very simple search strategy. It wasn't what he went to use. He just picked it up and went, right, that's what I needed. I can now correct on top of this. And he built out a proper search strategy. But it saved him that initial learning curve bit of several hours to start using it. People are using it to write job ads. People are using it to write copy. People are using it to just save 10 minutes here and there by going, I can't be bothered to think of a subject line for this important marketing email. Come up with 10 for me. Ah, yeah, that one. Give me the opening line. Give me the closing line. Help me put together some copy on the website. All these little things, it's making people much faster. So once you're in and you have a play around the area that most speaks to you, marketing, social, operational, management, training, whatever it may be, you'll start to see its potential elsewhere. And I'll in that training course, I'll take you through 5 different use cases to start creating that appreciation for what it could do for you. And then in your particular business, you'll find it can be incredibly powerful.
Wow. Exciting. Very exciting. So there was so much in there. I couldn't get through all questions. So I really apologize for that. I think we're going to need a follow-up on this in a few months, Pete, because this is fast moving. So I'm really sorry not getting to all questions. So please do contact Pete direct on LinkedIn. Hopefully it will be him that replies, not his chatbot.
I'll tell you what, I'll leave you with that top rule, actually. Do not let Chat GPT talk to your customers. Not without you going. It goes through you.
Yeah. Absolutely. But no, that's really fascinating. I had not a clue at the top of the half hour of what this was going to be about. And well, I knew what it was about, but I didn't really know anything about it. And that's a big eye opener. It's one of these things. It's such a big thing that you get to know a little bit, and then you realize, oh my God, that's even more how much I don't know. So I'm gonna be logging on into that webinar, and yeah, we will definitely on the business board, as long as Pete's happy to come back. Be very welcome to come back and give us an update of what's progressing in Chat GPT, but we shall just call it Chat. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Pete. Thank you everybody else for logging in. I've gone back. I'm like so full of chat. I haven't thought about what next week is. I'm sure it's some acquisition-y type thing next week. But fantastic. Thank you very much, everyone logging in. Do follow us on YouTube as well. You'll see all the historical ones on there. Because we've had well over a year's worth, so we've got like 60 odd back catalogues of lots of different topics. But also let us know what topics you want us to include in 2023. But that's amazing. Thank you so much, Pete. That was really useful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nikki.
And thank you everybody for listening. Have wonderful weekends, everybody. Cheerio.
Bye.